Jin-Ho Park stood on the bridge of the HSS Valiant, his eyes fixed on the main screen. The stars looked the same as they always did from this part of the solar system, but he knew everything had changed. His ship had been on routine patrol near Jupiter when the sensors picked up something impossible. "Commander, I'm getting readings I can't explain," said Yunji, her voice steady despite the tension. "Multiple objects approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit." Jin-Ho walked to her station and looked at the data. "How many objects?" "At first I thought it was a sensor malfunction," she said. "But the count is still rising. Currently at 9,823. No, now it's over 10,000. The bridge fell silent. Earth had only 20 warships in its entire fleet. The Valiant was the newest and most advanced, but it was just one ship. "Show me," Jin-Ho ordered. The main screen shifted to show a vast cloud of objects moving in perfect formation toward them. They weren't asteroids or comets. The shapes were too uniform, their movements too coordinated. "They're ships," said Tactical Officer Taiwan, "like nothing we've ever seen before." Jin-Ho returned to his command chair and pressed a button. "All stations, yellow alert. This is not a drill." He turned to Yunji. "Open a channel. Standard first contact protocols." She worked at her console, sending out the carefully designed message of peace that humanity had prepared for this moment. Mathematical sequences, basic chemical formulas, and simple greeting images transmitted on all frequencies. Minutes passed. The alien fleet continued its approach. "They've received our transmission," Yunji said. "They're responding." The screen filled with strange symbols and patterns that shifted and pulsed. "Send it to the translation system," Jin-Ho ordered. Science Officer Mina worked quickly at her station. "The computer can't make sense of it, but there's something strange about the pattern. It's too perfect, too synchronized." The alien fleet suddenly changed formation, spreading out in a hemisphere that began to surround the Valiant. "They're boxing us in," Taiwan said, his hands moving over his tactical display. "Weapons signatures detected. They're powering up something." Jin-Ho stood. "Red alert. Shields to maximum." The bridge lighting shifted to a dim red as warning sirens sounded throughout the ship. "Try again," Jin-Ho told Yunji. "Send the peace message on all channels." She nodded and retransmitted the greeting. The alien fleet paused its encirclement momentarily, then continued with even greater speed. "They think we're threatening them," Maina said suddenly. "Look at this pattern in their communications." She brought up a visual on the main screen. "It's repeating our message, but with inverted values. They've interpreted our mathematical sequences as some kind of countdown." Jin-Ho felt cold dread settle in his stomach. "How do we fix this?" "I don't know if we can," Mina admitted. "Their response pattern suggests they operate as a collective. They process information differently than we do." The first alien energy weapon fired, a brilliant beam of blue light that struck the Valiant's shields. The ship shuddered. "Shields holding at 87%, reported Hyunwoo from engineering. Jin-Ho made his decision. "Move us away from Earth. If they follow us, at least we'll draw them away from home." The Valiant's engines roared to life, pushing the ship into a retreat trajectory. The alien fleet followed, just as Jin-Ho had hoped. "Commander," Mina called out, "I've analyzed more of their communications. These aliens appear to be a hive mind species. They make decisions collectively and simultaneously. I don't think they've ever encountered beings who think as individuals." Jin-Ho watched as the alien ships moved with perfect coordination, each vessel knowing exactly what the others would do without apparent communication. "That's why they misunderstood us," he said slowly. "And it might be our only advantage." Another energy beam struck the ship, stronger this time. "Shields at 62%, Hyunwoo reported. Jin-Ho looked at his crew, each person working with determination despite the overwhelming odds. 10,000 ships against one. It should have been hopeless. But as he watched the alien fleet move as a single entity, an idea began to form. Their perfect coordination was both their strength and their weakness. They couldn't understand unpredictability because they had never needed to. "I think I know how to fight them," Jinho said quietly. "Todd 1, prepare a new tactical plan. We're going to show these aliens something they've never seen before." "What's that, Commander?" asked Ha1. Jinho's expression hardened as another alien beam struck the ship. "Human chaos." Jinho's mind flashed back to 2 years earlier as the Valiant shuddered under another alien attack. He remembered the day he first saw the ship, gleaming in its construction dock above Earth. "This is the most advanced vessel ever built by human hands," Admiral Song had told him that day. They stood in a viewing gallery, watching workers in spacesuits make final adjustments to the hull. "And you, Commander Park, will be her captain." Jinho had felt both pride and uncertainty. "Why me, Admiral?" The older woman had smiled slightly. "Because you think differently. This ship needs someone who sees patterns others miss." Now, as alien weapons fire rocked the Valiant, Jinho understood what she had meant. "Shields at 48%. Hyunwoo reported from engineering, his voice tense but controlled. Jinho stood from his command chair. "Hyunwoo, I need to talk to you about the quantum core." A look passed between them, heavy with meaning. Hyunwoo nodded. "Meet me in engineering, Commander." Jinho turned to his first officer. "Sangma, you have the bridge. Keep us moving, keep them following." The corridors of the Valiant were bathed in red emergency lighting as Jinho made his way to engineering. The ship shook again from another hit, nearly throwing him against a wall. When he arrived, Hyunwoo was waiting at the sealed entrance to the quantum core chamber. "You want to use the Phoenix Protocol," Hyunwoo said. It wasn't a question. "Is it possible?" Jinho asked. Hyunwoo entered his security code, and the heavy doors slid open. Inside was a room unlike any other on the ship. In the center floated a sphere of swirling energy, contained within multiple layers of transparent barriers. It pulsed with colors Jinho couldn't name, shifting between states of matter in ways that shouldn't be possible. "The Phoenix wasn't designed as a weapon," Hyunwoo said quietly. "It was meant to be a new form of propulsion, a way to bend space for faster-than-light travel." Jinho approached the containment field, but it could be used as a weapon, in theory. Hyunwoo brought up a control panel and showed complex calculations. "The quantum core creates a field that exists partly in our dimension and partly outside it. If we modified the field's parameters and then collapsed it, what would happen?" Hyunwoo looked troubled. "A cascading quantum disruption that could spread to any similar technology within range. But Jinho, it's never been tested. The mathematics is theoretical. We could destroy ourselves along with them." Jinho stared at the pulsing core. "Tell me about the fail-safes." "There are 7, Hyunwoo explained. 3 physical and 4 software-based. All would need to be bypassed to activate the protocol." Another hit rocked the ship more violently than before. "Shields at 31%, came Mina's voice over the comm. "Commander, we can't take much more of this." Jinho made his decision. "Start working on those fail-safes." When Jinho returned to the bridge, Mina was waiting with new information. "Commander, I've been studying their attack patterns," she said, bringing up a display. "They're not just a hive mind. They operate on quantum entanglement principles. That's how they coordinate so perfectly across such vast distances." Jinho looked at the data, his mind racing. "Quantum entanglement. Are you certain?" "Yes." Mina nodded. "Their ships are essentially quantum computers in constant communication. They don't just think as one. They exist as one distributed system." A slow smile spread across Jinho's face. "That's why their tactics seem so perfect but inflexible. And it means the Phoenix Protocol could work even better than we hoped." Eunjai looked up from her communication station. "I've been trying to analyze more of their language patterns. I think they call themselves the Unified. They don't even have a concept for I or me in their communications. Jinho returned to his command chair. A species that has never known individuality, confronted by humans who prize it above almost everything. No wonder they misunderstood us. The ship shook again as another alien weapon found its mark. "Commander," Hyunwoo's voice came over the comm. "I've made progress on the Phoenix Protocol modifications, but there's something you should know. Based on Minus findings about their quantum network, the disruption would be devastating to their entire fleet. It would sever their connections to each other." "Would it destroy them?" Jinho asked. "Not physically," Hyunwoo replied, "but it would force each ship to function independently. For beings that have never known individuality, it would be like cutting a person into 10,000 pieces, each suddenly forced to live on its own." Mina finished softly. Jinho looked at the alien fleet on the main screen, still moving with perfect, inhuman coordination as they pressed their attack. "Is there any other way?" he asked. "Not if we want to survive," Ta-1 answered from tactical. Jinho nodded grimly. "Then we proceed with the Phoenix Protocol. But first, we need to position ourselves perfectly." The bridge of the Valiant buzzed with new energy as Jinho called his senior officers together. The ship continued its evasive pattern, buying them precious minutes while the alien armada adjusted its formation. "We need a plan that seems completely illogical to them," Jinho explained, pointing to the tactical display. "Their strength is perfect coordination, but they can't anticipate what they don't understand." Navigator Sangme studied the star chart, her eyes narrowing in concentration. She pointed to a spot between Jupiter's moons. "Here," she said, "between Ganymede and Io. There's a gravitational focal point that forms every 42 hours when they align with Jupiter. It creates a natural lens effect." Taiwan looked skeptical. "What good does that do us?" "It could amplify the Phoenix Protocol's quantum disruption," Maina replied, quickly calculating the possibilities. "If we activate it at precisely the right moment, in exactly the right position." Jinho nodded. "The effect could spread through their entire fleet before they realize what's happening." "There's a problem," Sangme said. "To reach that position, we need to move directly toward the center of their formation. It would look like we're launching an attack. Or surrendering," Jinho said quietly. "What if we powered down weapon systems as we approached? Made it look like we're offering ourselves?" Taiwan shook his head. "They'd destroy us instantly." "Not if they're curious," Mina suggested. "Their behavior shows they've never encountered anything like us before. They might want to study us first." Another hit rocked the ship. The lights flickered momentarily. "Shields at 22%, Hyunwoo reported from engineering. Jinho made his decision. "We make them believe we're surrendering. Power down weapons, but keep shields at maximum. Set course for the focal point." As the crew hurried to their stations, Jinho opened a ship-wide channel. "This is Commander Park. I know many of you are afraid. We face an enemy unlike any humanity has encountered before. Our plan is dangerous, but it's our only chance. If we succeed, we save not just ourselves, but Earth. If we fail—" He paused. "It has been my honor to serve with each of you." The Valiant changed course, heading directly toward the center of the alien fleet. As expected, the aliens responded immediately, shifting to intercept them. "They're adjusting faster than I anticipated," Sangmai warned. "They'll reach us before we hit the focal point." Jinho watched the tactical display, his mind racing. "Yunji, can you send them a message? Something they might interpret as surrender." Yunji worked at her console, sending a modified version of their own signal pattern, but with our energy signatures embedded. The alien fleet's advance slowed slightly. "They're confused," Maina said, monitoring the sensor readings. "Their attack pattern is becoming less coordinated." Jinho nodded. "Now, Hyunwoo, begin the Phoenix Protocol warm-up sequence." In engineering, Hyunwoo and his team worked frantically to prepare the quantum core. The sphere of energy at its center pulsed more rapidly, changing colors in dizzying patterns. We'll only get one chance, Hyunwoo told his engineers. The core will destabilize within seconds of activation. All safety protocols must be disengaged simultaneously. Back on the bridge, Jin-Ho watched as they approached the gravitational focal point. The alien fleet had partially surrounded them, but had not yet fired again. They're scanning us intensively, Mina reported. I think they're trying to understand what we're doing. How long until we reach position? Jin-Ho asked. 3 minutes, 14 seconds, Sang-Mai replied. And the gravitational alignment? It will be perfect when we arrive, she confirmed, but will remain stable for only 47 seconds. Jin-Ho looked at the alien fleet on the main screen. 10,000 ships, moving with a singular purpose, a hive mind that had never encountered the chaos and unpredictability of individual thought. Youngji, send them something new, Jin-Ho said suddenly. Something they won't expect. Like what, Commander? Jin-Ho thought for a moment. Music. Send them back cello suite no. 1. Youngji looked surprised but complied. The haunting, solitary notes of the cello piece transmitted toward the alien fleet. The response was immediate. The alien ships began moving in erratic patterns, as if uncertain how to respond to the unfamiliar input. It's working, Mina said in amazement. They're trying to find patterns in the music, but can't reconcile it with their understanding of communication. They've never heard anything created by a single mind for its own sake. Jin-Ho realized. It's completely foreign to them. The distraction worked. The Valiant slipped deeper into the alien formation, approaching the critical position while the aliens were still processing the unexpected transmission. 1 minute to focal point, Sang-Mi announced. Jin-Ho opened a channel to engineering. Hyunwoo, status of the Phoenix Protocol. Ready on your command, came the tense reply. But Jin-Ho, there's no going back once we start this. Jin-Ho looked at his crew, each person focused on their tasks despite the overwhelming odds against them. Sometimes, he said quietly, the only way forward is to do the impossible. The Valiant glided between massive alien ships, their strange surfaces reflecting the distant light of Jupiter. Jin-Ho felt sweat on his forehead as he watched the tactical display. 10,000 enemy vessels surrounded his single ship, yet they hesitated to fire. 30 seconds to focal point, Sang-Li announced, her voice steady despite the tension. Jin-Ho nodded. Hyunwoo, begin final preparations for Phoenix Protocol. Acknowledged, came the engineer's voice. Core temperature rising. Quantum field stabilizing. On the main screen, Jin-Ho could see the alien ships closest to them. Their hulls shimmered with unusual energy patterns, almost like thoughts moving across the surface. They're communicating, Mina said, studying her readings. The patterns are accelerating. I think they're debating what to do with us. Let's give them something else to consider, Jin-Ho said. Ta-1, fire a single torpedo. Low yield. Aim it away from their ships, into empty space. Taiwan looked surprised but followed the order. A torpedo shot from the Valiant, streaking past the alien vessels before detonating harmlessly in the void. The effect was immediate. The alien fleet erupted into chaotic movement. They're confused, Mina reported. The torpedo didn't match our surrender posture. Their coordination is breaking down. 20 seconds to focal point, Sang-Mi called out. The aliens recovered quickly. Dozens of energy beams lanced toward the Valiant from all directions. The ship rocked violently as they struck the shields. Shields at 14%. Hyunwoo shouted over the sound of failing systems. Jin-Ho gripped his command chair. Hold course. Another barrage hit them. A console exploded on the bridge, sending sparks cascading across the floor. The lights flickered and went out, leaving only the red emergency lighting. Main power failing, Hyunwoo reported. Switching to emergency systems. Shields at 7%, Ta-1 added grimly. 10 seconds to focal point, Sang-Mi said, her voice tight with strain. Jinho watched as the alien fleet coordinated a massive attack pattern. Hundreds of ships were positioning themselves to fire simultaneously. "They've analyzed our route," Mina warned. "They know where we're heading." 5 seconds, Sangmei counted down. The alien attack came just as they reached the gravitational focal point. Energy beams from hundreds of ships converged on the Valiant. The ship shuddered violently. "Direct hit to engineering," Hyunwoo shouted over the comm. "The automatic Phoenix activation system is damaged." Jinho felt the deck plating beneath his feet grow hot. Smoke began to fill the bridge. "Shields failing," Taiwan reported, coughing through the smoke. "We're at the focal point now," Sangmei called out. Jinho made his decision. "Hanwoo, is there any way to activate Phoenix manually?" There was a pause filled with static. "Yes," Hyunwoo finally responded, "but someone would need to enter the core chamber and initiate the sequence directly. The radiation levels would be fatal." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. "I'll do it," Jinho said, rising from his command chair. "Commander, no," Yumje protested. Jinho looked at his bridge crew. "Sangmei, hold this position as long as possible. Mina, continue monitoring the alien patterns. If this works, they'll need help understanding what happened to them." Before anyone could argue further, another hit rocked the ship, more powerful than any before. The main viewport cracked, emergency force fields barely containing the breach. "Shields have failed," Taiwan reported grimly. Jinho ran from the bridge toward engineering, dodging falling debris and stepping over damaged sections of corridor. When he arrived, he found Hyunwoo working frantically at the core control panel. "The chamber's already flooded with radiation," Hyunwoo said without looking up. "If you go in there, how long do we have at the focal point?" Jinho asked. 17 seconds remaining," Hyunwoo replied. Jinho looked through the viewport at the quantum core. The swirling energy had become a violent storm, pulsing with colors that hurt to look at. "Tell me what to do," he said. Hyunwoo handed him a small device. "This will initiate the sequence. You'll need to place it directly into the core itself. Once it's activated, you'll have approximately 3 seconds to exit." Both men knew that wouldn't be enough time. Jinho took the device. "If this works, make sure Earth understands these aliens. They're not evil, just different." Hyunwoo nodded silently. The ship shook again. A voice came over the comm system. "Multiple hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. 10 seconds remaining at focal point," Sangmei added urgently. Jinho entered his override code into the chamber door. It slid open, releasing a wave of heat and strange light. He stepped inside, feeling the radiation immediately begin to affect him. His skin tingled painfully, and his vision blurred. He staggered toward the core, the device held tightly in his hand. The quantum energy swirled more violently as he approached, almost as if it were alive and aware of his presence. With the last of his strength, Jinho pushed the device into the heart of the core. "For Earth," he whispered. The quantum core flared blindingly bright. In the final moment before the Phoenix protocol activated, Jinho thought he saw the energy form a pattern that looked almost like wings. Then everything was light. A brilliant wave of energy erupted from the Valiant, expanding outward in concentric rings of light that defied normal physics. The quantum disruption passed through the alien fleet like a silent storm, each ring growing larger as it touched more ships. On the bridge, the surviving crew watched in awe as the main screen showed alien vessel after alien vessel going dark, their shimmering hulls taut pulsing with their strange communication patterns. The perfect coordination that had made them so formidable vanished in seconds. "It's working," Mina whispered, staring at her sensor readings. "The quantum disruption is severing their network connections." Sangmei looked up from her navigation console. "The focal point is amplifying the effect just as we predicted. It's reaching the entire fleet." Through the cracked viewport, they could see nearby alien ships drifting aimlessly, their weapons powered down and their movements erratic. Some collided with each other, unable to coordinate their positions. "What about the commander?" Yunji asked, her voice tight with emotion. Tai-1 checked his console. No life signs detected in the core chamber. His words fell heavy on the bridge. The ship's emergency systems kicked in, stabilizing the worst of the damage. Hyunwoo's voice came over the comm, strained but determined. "Engineering to bridge. The Phoenix Protocol succeeded, but at great cost. The quantum core is completely depleted." The Valiant drifted silently among the now disabled alien armada. What had been an unstoppable force just minutes before was now 10,000 individual ships, each one suddenly cut off from the hive mind that had guided it. "We're receiving a transmission," Yunji said suddenly, her eyes wide with surprise. "It's from one of the alien vessels, but it's different from before." She put it on the main screen. The image showed a strange being with multiple eyes arranged in a circle around what might have been a head. Its skin shimmered with colors that shifted as it moved, but most striking was its expression, something that looked remarkably like confusion and fear. The alien made sounds that the ship's computer struggled to translate. Finally, broken words came through. "What happened? I am alone. Cannot feel others. Am I one?" Mina gasped softly. They've never experienced individual consciousness before. The Phoenix Protocol didn't just disrupt their technology. It forced them to exist as separate beings for the first time. Sangmei, as the highest-ranking officer left, stepped forward. "This is Acting Commander Sangmei of the HSS Valiant. We mean you no harm. Your fleet attacked us, and we defended ourselves." The alien's multiple eyes blinked in unison. "Not attack. Join. Make you part of unity. Now, no unity. Only." It struggled for a concept it had never needed before. Only me. They wanted to assimilate us, Mina realized. They weren't trying to destroy us. They wanted to make us part of their collective consciousness. Over the next few hours, more alien ships established individual contact. Each one expressed the same confusion and fear at their new state of existence. Some seemed almost in mourning for the connection they had lost, while others showed a cautious curiosity about their new individuality. A small team led by Hyunwoo made their way to the core chamber to recover Jinho's body. To their astonishment, they found him alive, though barely. The quantum energies had changed him in ways they couldn't understand, but his heart still beat. "Get him to medical," Hyunwoo ordered, his voice breaking with emotion. 3 days later, as the Valiant limped back toward Earth with a small escort of alien vessels that had requested to come with them, Jinho opened his eyes in the medical bay. Dr. Subin stared in disbelief at her readings. "Your cellular structure has been altered," she told him. "The quantum energy somehow merged with you." Jinho looked at his hands, which occasionally shimmered with the same strange light that had filled the core. "I can feel them," he said quietly. "The aliens. Not like they felt each other, but I understand them now." When he was strong enough to return to the bridge, Jinho found the alien commander waiting on the main screen. Its multiple eyes focused on him with an intensity that would have been unsettling before. "You gave us something we never knew existed," the alien said, its translation now much clearer. "Individuality. Some of my people fear it. Some embrace it. All are changed by it." "And you?" Jinho asked. "What do you think of being an individual?" The alien was silent for a moment. "It is painful, lonely, but also, I see things differently now. I see you differently. One ship, one crew. Separate beings working together by choice, not by force." Jinho nodded. "That's humanity's greatest strength. We stand alone, but choose to stand together." As the Valiant approached Earth, a fleet of human ships came to escort them home. Behind them followed the small group of alien vessels, no longer part of a hive mind, but the first ambassadors of a species discovering what it meant to be individuals. Jinho stood on his bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the view screen. The quantum energy that had become part of him pulsed gently beneath his skin. Sometimes, he said quietly to his crew, it takes one to change many.